Well, good evening. Welcome to another edition of Sky Blue Fans TV. I'm Ken Stewart. I'm going to be joined tonight by Miles Cadden and Victoria.
Good evening.
Good evening, Miles.
Good evening.
Good evening, Victoria. We're going to be talking World Cup. We're going to be hopefully joined a bit later on in the programme by CJ, live from the World Cup camp out in Qatar. He can give us a bit of a rundown on the World Cup camp and what's going on down there, and his views on the England v USA game the other night, which was very disappointing for us all. I'm sure we'll have a chat about that later on. So we're going to have a chat about that later on. We're also going to have a chat about the FA Cup draw, which has just been made. And Victoria, tell them who we're playing. Go on, because you predicted it.
Wrexham.
Who are we playing? Wrexham at home.
AKA Ryan Reynolds, FC.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we've got a home draw against Wrexham. We're going to have a chat about that in a minute. We're going to chat about the takeover, which has took another bit of a twist this week, with this new guy coming on the block and putting his oar in about what's going on. So we'll have a chat about that. That's upset a few people. And then we're going to have a chat about our trip to Spain. Me and Miles are going to, very shortly actually, we're going to go take a flight over to Marbella and hopefully see a friendly game. I mean, the original game that got called off, unfortunately, against Olympiacos, it's not going to go ahead. So they're trying to arrange another game out there. Hopefully they will. Otherwise, we'll be on a bit of a jolly and we'll just be watching warm weather training. So we don't mind. It's a bit of a winter sun. Who cares? Eh? But so hopefully we'll see some sort of game, Miles. Yeah, hopefully.
Never know, dear. Never know.
You're looking forward to the trip to Spain.
Yeah, I need some sunshine after the last couple of weeks, mate. I've had an absolute shocker, and yeah, I need to. Yeah, but I just need to get away.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's start. We all do. I think we all do. Let's start FA Cup. We might as well start with the FA Cup. Home draw against Wrexham. All you can wish for is the home draw, I suppose, in the third round. Unless you hopefully try and get through to the next round and try and get one of the big boys if you don't pull them out in the first round. So home to Wrexham is a winnable game, but they are going well, Wrexham. They're top of their league. Victoria, your thoughts on the draw?
It's a potential banana skin, isn't it, unfortunately?
Yeah.
I think it's nice to get a game that you think is winnable. I think because for me, it's nice to get a couple of rounds done and then pick like a big team. So a couple of games, couple of rounds, win a couple of rounds, get a bit of money in for the club, and then pick, I don't know, like your Arsenal, Spurs, someone like that, and obviously just accept then that you're going out and but you've had a nice little cup win and made a bit of money. I think like for us, because we haven't got the resources or the squad or anything really to make a proper challenge for the FA Cup, have we? So I think it's just about making the most of it each season.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, we're very likely we're going to win it. I mean, we have won it in the past, but obviously you need a bit of luck along the way. If you get home draws along all the way through, you've got a chance, I suppose, against lower league teams. But eventually you're going to hit one of the big guys, aren't you? So, Miles, what's your view on home draw against Wrexham? I mean, would you have preferred a Premier League side, or are you quite happy with Wrexham?
Let's just say, let's just aim for the Netflix cameras. Oh no, Disney Plus. Sorry, excuse me. Let's just aim for the Disney Plus cameras, mate. Let's just get on it. Let's get on the old Netflix and Disney Plus. Let's do it. I'll tell you what, we need to have a word with them because I need to come and do a story about our team. I'll tell you, but yeah, Wrexham. Why not? I mean, I've watched the series recently, and it's absolutely wonderful what those guys are doing. Ryan Reynolds and all that over there. It's just they've promised those fans the world, and they promised that they're going to get them out of that league, and they're top of the league at the moment, I think by 1 point, and it's going to be very interesting, to be honest with you. But I'm looking forward to it. Why not? I mean, let's just charge them. Let's charge them 15 quid a ticket. Get as many fans as they want to bring down. If they want to bring 8,000, shove them in that bottom end. Who cares? And, let's just let them enjoy it. And if we get knocked out, we get knocked out. It don't really matter. I think the key thing for us this season is to hopefully push for the playoffs. It would have been fantastic. When the Man City ball come out, I thought, oh, here we go. And it was number 12. And I went, no, it's number 12. It could have been 13. That would have been ace, wouldn't it? Man City away would have been brilliant. But, yeah, unfortunately not, no. But yeah, Wrexham, why not? Let's do
Oh,
it. Let's go. Let's hope Ryan Reynolds
why
comes and
not?
that. It'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Well,
It'd be
I was
great.
hoping for Villa away or someone like that, to be honest, because it'd be nice to play them. I think that's certainly a team we can beat. And
It'd be on telly, I reckon. It'd be on telly.
There could be, because there's a few all Premier League games as well, isn't there? I noticed.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, but I reckon it'd be on telly, I do.
Yeah, because they're doing well. They're doing well in their league. They've got a bit of money to spend. They'll bring a massive support. I know they will.
Huge.
Probably they'll sell their allocation. A long time since we played them, I think, isn't it? Who was it? Was it Jordan Porticelli? Jordan Porticelli went there, didn't he?
He left in January.
He left in January. Is he not there now?
No, sorry. End of last season, he left.
Right.
They let him go. They're pretty ruthless, to be honest with you. And fair play to them. That's what you got to be like. A bit like Mark Robbins, ruthless.
Well, that's it. That's what you got to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Victoria, would you like an FA Cup run, or would you prefer us to concentrate on the league?
I think a couple of rounds is nice, isn't it? A bit of a mini run, because I think it just helps to generate a bit of positivity, get a bit of form, like just a feel good factor around the club, things like that. So I think a couple. I mean, it's that balance, isn't it? Because you don't want to go too far, and there's like having too many games. When like Miles said before, the priority has to be pushing for the playoffs, doesn't it? Really, but I think you tend to find that the clubs who are having a good cup run, it sort of has a knock-on effect on their league form as well, generally. So that's what it's all good, isn't it?
Well, it's confidence, isn't it? It's confidence, Miles. I think.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
You're winning
games. Brilliant. It's ace because you know what. Well, whatever happens, we're going to be on Disney Plus next season, aren't we? We're going to be on their story. We will be on their story. It's going to be great. We're going to be on Disney Plus.
If we beat them, it'd be even better, wouldn't it? Because that gets into next round, a bit more money. I know we're thinking a bit further ahead there, but obviously a bit more money for Robin to spend if he has any more money to spend in the transfer window. But that's another thing we're going to come on to now about the takeover. We move away from the FA Cup. We'll go about the takeover, and let's chat about this new guy. I mean, I don't know much about this new guy. I mean, I don't know much about Big Doug, but this other guy that's come on the block, this William Story, whatever his name is, I've never seen one of his energy drinks on the shelf in any shops.
He's definitely good at telling stories, mate.
Well, he is. By the sound of it, he seems a very controversial character, I think, and he's some sort of energy drink boss, isn't he? But I've never seen one of his energy drinks, to be honest. Never heard of him before. What do you make of it, Victoria? What do you make of him? Do you think he'd be a good move for the club or not? Because there's a lot of negative stuff coming out about him, but I suppose we don't really know much about him. Only what we've heard on social media.
I mean, I like to try and keep an open mind, but just for me, it just sounds like a nightmare. There's too much controversy there. There's stories about the trouble with the racing team. That apparently his energy drink sponsored. There's talk about him trying to buy Sunderland and that all. Like those Sunderland fans, and if the Sunderland fans are telling us that we want to keep if they're like basically not laughing at us, they're basically saying no, keep away. That tells you something, doesn't it? I think if they're actually on our side, I mean, that you don't get that very often. So I think that's all a bit of a worry, and we just don't need I just like Doug felt to me like there might be things about him, and we didn't really know the full picture. We didn't know him, but it felt like it might just give us a bit of stability. The story feels like it's just going to be more controversy and more issues, and I'm just fed up of that. I just would like a bit of like a few seasons where we can just like tick along and not have to have like chats about like what's going on off the field every week. And that's what I feel like that's what he would bring to the club, just more controversy. And just questions about like whether we can actually like meet any of these promises he's making, because it sounds like he's very good at making the promises and there's very little history of him actually following through on any of them. So that's a worry as well, isn't it? I think
it is a worry because I don't know. I'd never heard of him before previously. And he just sort of come on. Everybody's come on the scene all of a sudden after Big Doug had obviously put his bid in. So why we didn't hear about him beforehand, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Miles, what do you think of the whole saga? That's what I describe it as, the saga.
Wow. Let's just see. Let's pick the bones out of his interview. 20-minute interview.
Yeah.
Apparently, he used to be a failed ex-professional footballer. For me,
Really?
he looked like a reject from ZZ Top
Yeah.
or Slade. Oh, mate, seriously, if he's just so wrong. Everything that was coming out of his mouth just sort of seemed not genuine. Nothing came across genuine. It came across false. He said that he's opened it as everyone's saying at the moment. I hate this saying. He reached out to Sisu and said, "Let's draw a line in the sand. Let me just do the deal. Blah blah blah. Let's not fall out over anything." And you're thinking, mate, you're just here to try and get some free publicity. And to be honest with you, I look at the end of the day, from what I can see, the first, like when you meet someone, you shake their hand. First 60 seconds, you like them or you don't. And
First impressions, yeah.
first impressions. I'm very very sorry, but nah, not for me. He's imagine having him in an executive box looking like that. I'm not being funny. When you go in an executive box, you're not even allowed to wear your Cobb City shirt. So how
No,
are you
you're
going to
right.
let that in to the executive box with a greasy long beard that looks like a mess? And he looks a mess. And as you said, he's an energy drink. Never heard of it.
I've never heard of it. I've never seen it in the shop yet.
And he sponsored Haas and pulled out halfway through. What's that all about? You know,
Well,
have a word with yourselves, lads. You know, at the end of the day,
yeah.
he ain't right. He ain't right. No. Yeah, he's not. Nah. And he said, he come out. He goes. I wanted to buy Sunderland, but when they got promoted, they wanted too much money. Well, hold on a minute. We're an established Championship team, so how can Sunderland say they wanted too much money? We're an established Championship team now. We've been there 3 years, so surely we're worth more than Sunderland. Nah,
Yeah.
the bloke ain't right. Something ain't right there. It doesn't add up. But then there's fans out there go, yeah, but what about Doug King? You know, we've never heard of this story, bloke. We've never heard of Doug King. But I'm not being funny. In the first 24 hours of Doug King, he said so much things that everyone would like. This guy hasn't said anything. You know, I've got over £9 million worth of sponsors lined up. Look,
Wow, yeah.
who then? That. Who? Tell us who. Who
He
you
won't
got
tell
then?
us, though, would he? Didn't
Exactly.
say, he didn't go any further.
Exactly.
The trouble is, he's telling people what they want to hear. Oh, I've got money and I'm going to invest millions. So everyone's just, I mean, that's what fans want to hear, don't they? But you've got to look past that and think, what corporate business is going to give him like assurances of like £9 million worth of money when they won't have had any details about the club because he can't have that information because he doesn't own the club yet, so he can't have given them. So that just doesn't. It's just that can't possibly be true, and so to me, he's just saying what people want to hear. To get people on side, and I'm just concerned. I mean, like Miles said, we don't know Doug King, but it just he's talking like a businessman and like saying things in the way that you'd expect a businessman to talk. This Mr. Story's talking like somebody that's just a bit of a chancer, really, who's saying what people would want to hear, but it doesn't quite add up, and it's also all a bit concerning. And when you hear it against his backdrop of like falling out with House racing team and trying to buy Sunderland and all those different things, it just doesn't add up. And it sounds to me that there's no real like substance to his promises, and that would be a big worry to me. So I hope nothing comes of it and he just walks away.
I mean, for me, I've always been told never to judge a book by its cover, right? But I've always been told never trust anyone that wears brown shoes. Yeah. But this guy, to me, it just doesn't seem right to me. It's like I messaged everyone earlier. I'm going to make a statement now, guys. I've approached Sisu to buy the club, and I've approached Mike Ashley to buy the ground. I'm going to go to him and say, "Excuse me, let me honour the deal." Come on, have a word, mate. Go back in your cupboard. Go back to where you come from. You didn't succeed at Sunderland. You're trying to get free publicity. Ain't going to happen. You know what I mean? It ain't happening.
It seems that way to me. It's coming across that way, and I must agree with you, to be honest. I think it's a bit of a publicity stunt from him because nobody seems to know anything about this guy, and he's breaking all these promises, and he's got nothing to back it up with, really. going on to Big Doug, I mean, obviously it's gone. Apparently, he's had a little chat with Robbins already. He's obviously told him he's got a lot of money to spend in the transfer window. Or we're hoping he's said that. But can you see Big Vic or any of the players leaving us in January, Miles, or can you see them still here? Do you think Big Doug has keep his promises and say? Because he did come out and say, he didn't have to say it, but he did come out and say he's not going to sell anybody in January.
But we can say that, and we've said it all along, that yes, it'd be great to keep him, but if someone came in with silly money and offered to buy that player for 20, 30 million, you'd be stupid as a businessman not to take it. The key to that is, I think when Sisu are in charge, if we had sold Victor for a X amount, 10, 15 million, would Robbins see any of that money? I would like to believe that if they did sell Victor or one of the others for big money, that Mark Robbins would see that money. And I believe that that would happen under a new regime. You can't say no to any deal. Yes, we would like to keep hold of him till the summer. In the summer, you say to him, right, do you want to come? Do you want to have it on your CV that you've helped a club get to the Premier League and do it the right way, not the easy way by someone coming in and buying you? Would you want to come and do it the right way and win the league or get out this league with us, have it on your CV and knowing that you're going to play next season? If he goes to a Premiership team now that's in the bottom 5 in the Premier League that could go get relegated, he might not even get a game every week. He's guaranteed to play every week. His name's going to be on the team sheet week in, week out between now and the summer. That man needs to, as soon as he comes back off holiday, because he's on holiday, isn't he? He's away. He's got an extra week off. So as soon as he gets back, he's got to sit him down at the table and say, right, there's a pen, write down what you want, because you've got to keep him till the summer. Extend it by 12 months, his contract. Give him what he wants. If we don't go up, then you say, okay, off you go. You can go now. But have it on your CV that you're going to get up with Coventry City and you're guaranteed to be on that team sheet next season in the Premier League. Because he ain't going to get that anywhere else. He ain't going to go to Everton and get in the team sheet every week. He ain't going to go to Southampton. He ain't going to go to Wolves. With Coventry City, he's building something, and those players, as I said to you the other week, we need to sit down with all the players and offer every single player an extended contract. Because they've all done a wonderful job with the start of the season we had to put up with. No pitch, playing away. They all deserve 6 months to 12 months extension on the contract. They really do. And approach Forest and buy Panzo.
Yes, that would be good. That'd be a good shout. Victoria, what's your views on Big Doug? Think he'll keep his promises?
Yes, I do. I mean, it's difficult, and it's like Miles was saying before about you just get a feel for somebody. I might be wrong, and obviously I've never met him in person. I've just seen him talk to people on the internet and whatever. But I just get a nice vibe. I feel like. I mean, and I might in 6 months be thinking, I got fooled there, didn't I? So who knows? But at the minute, I'd like to believe that he will stand by that. But I think Miles is right. You can't actually say that you wouldn't sell anybody, because if talk about
which is why I was surprised he come out and said that, because I thought, well, if he gets an offer of 30 million, he's got to sell it, isn't he?
Because people will jump on that, and I don't think that's bad business. They're talking about West Ham being interested. If West Ham come in for big money, Vic's going to want to go, and we're not going to be able to turn on the money. So what do you do in that situation? You just got to make the best of it and reinvest that money, don't you? So I think, like Miles said, as long as we're using that money to build a squad, so almost like going back to the Brentford type model where they sold people like Ollie Watkins on, and then bought Tony, who helped me get promoted. If we do that, so if we sell Vic, and then we can see that we've brought in some quality replacements, so we know the money's been put to good use, I think most fans would accept that as being the way a football club's run, wouldn't they? I mean, that is the way of the world, really. There's only a couple of clubs in the whole world, really, that could just turn down any money for any player, and generally, every player's got a price. So for me, I just get the vibe that Vic is looking. I feel like I'm slightly disappointed, actually, because I don't feel he really respects the improvement that AD and Mark have made in his game, and the chance that we gave him, I feel like he's looking. I feel like he thinks he's too good for us already. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like he's already looking, thinking, "I'm a Premier League striker," and I don't feel like he's given Mark and AD the respect for the job they've done on making him the player that he is, because he wasn't that player before he came. He obviously had the ability in his locker, because they've brought that out of him and they've made him better. And I don't really feel like he's given them the respect personally back for that, and so I just find that a bit frustrating. But
I must agree with you. Really, I get that vibe that he coming across to me. Sometimes in some games he's a bit bigger than the club, and we can't allow that to happen. I think what AD and Mark Robbins have done for him is brought him on a hell of a lot since last year. He's a much better player. Glenn, can you hear us, Glenn?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Mate, do you want to come in on that? What do you think of the takeover situation? This new guy and also Big Doug. Give me your views.
My concern is obviously with Story is why Sisu even entertained him, given his previous. The guy has got so much baggage. I actually thought he kind of flitted in between speaking actual quite sensible to like madness. He was very Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He took some absolute sense and had real common sense that you'd expect. And then he just went on these mad little tangents about getting 5 players and all the money. But he seemed to know a bit more about Coventry City than Doug King did. But then again, as people have pointed out when I made that comment on Twitter, it's quite easy to Google. He's obviously someone who's a football fan. I don't doubt that. He looks like Brian Kilcline does to me every time I see him, to be fair. Yeah. Well, speaking about that, there was an interesting story that I heard from a Sunderland fan that apparently he got into an argument with their podcast and offered them out for a boxing fight, not realising one of their team used to be a cage fighter. He probably ripped his head off, and that needly didn't happen. My questions more are, why Sisu entertained him? What on earth Gary Hoffman is doing involved with him? I mean, that's a guy.
I don't know why he got involved. The
guy supposedly got business acumen. He got suckered in by Dale Evans, apparently. I don't understand it. And the 2 other guys he's got backing him seem to be people of business acumen. And I think one of them's Duttman, who's a touring car guy, and then there was another guy, I can't remember that. I think it was Morris, who was something to do with Nectar. I mean, they're people who've got money. So I don't understand it, why Sisu would go. And I made a comment earlier to somebody else in the group chat. I think Sisu are either very naive, desperate, or they basically just wanted to sell the club to anybody, because I don't know why you'd entertain him on it. Whereas King, I think the only thing he said was, obviously, we're not a selling club. When we're not going to be a selling club. I think that sort of statement.
Do you think he'll sell anybody in January?
I don't think you can never say you'll never sell anybody. I think everyone has the price. Even Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona will sell at the right price to anybody, because that's the way the market is. I think that's the sort of statement somebody a bit more savvy in football. I don't think you see a Simon Jordan, as an example, make a statement like that, or somebody else a bit more. That's somebody who's not really been involved in football saying that statement. I think what he meant was, we're not going to be pressurised to sell. We will sell because we want to sell at the right time, the right price. But yeah, in terms of Doug King, I would personally say I'd rather have Doug King. The problem with Story is, as much as he seems a bit of a madcap, he's gone to a lot of time and effort. I mean, if he's been doing that deal since July, that's a lot of time and effort to be doing something with. He's got no publicity off it until Saturday, till he leaked it. So it's not like he's doing it to get a bit of publicity. Like the Sunderland thing obviously got in the media and it dragged out. I mean, I know he did stuff with, he did a half-hour interview with a Sunderland fan channel, and I know he did something else, like he did another podcast where he's like an hour and a half. I could get kind of that the media thing, but I don't see what the benefit to him of doing it is. Like Dale Evans, it was all a bit of a wind up, wasn't it? Dinser was a bit of a wind up, and the cracks started to show.
Yeah.
Until they really show a story, part of me thinks is maybe he is genuine. Maybe he is genuine, and he has got people behind him, and they've just made a bad choice in getting him to front it up. And the people behind him do actually have money. He's just the wrong person to be the face of the deal.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're saying about Googling our players. It was great how he said Keith Houchin. I don't know if you heard that. You couldn't even say Keith Houchin. And Lloyd McGrath.
He wouldn't say Gyökeres, would he? He said Vic. He said Vic, didn't he?
Yeah, and he said instead of Lloyd McGrath, it's Lloyd McGrath. I mean, you know, he's been Googling the players. You know, he's been Googling the history. I mean, the guy, as you say, Glenn, I think you're right. You know, if them business people are looking for someone to front a buyout for a club, for me personally, I know the world has changed and things like that, and everyone can look how they want to look. But I'm not being funny. It just doesn't. It's just not right. It doesn't sit right. And as you said, Glenn, part of his interview spoke a little bit of common sense, but then the rest of it, he spoke absolutely just rubbish. As I say, it just like Vic, you said, you know, King spoke very businesslike, but also spoke in a way that fans and normal people can understand. He wasn't speaking like a politician. He was speaking properly how people would understand what his plans are. This guy has come in, is stormed his way in on Twitter the other night, saying, "Oh, I'm going to take action against Sisu because I've had exclusive deals already to buy the club." But if he had exclusive deals, what if it's been going on since July? Then why hasn't it happened? Why hasn't he said something before? I don't get it. If he had that in coming in since July, then why hasn't he approached to buy the ground before Mike Ashley? It don't make any sense at all. No,
it's all very bizarre. I mean, have we got some comments coming through. Miles?
Let me just scroll to the top. Just a lot of people saying good evening to us all, so I'll skip through those. Loads of people saying that. Nation Radio, where are you? Here you go. Nation Radio, good evening. Worcester City revisited dodgy tie. Yeah, but we're going to be on Disney Plus. That's the thing.
We're going to have Deadpool at the CVS. In all seriousness, I think that's not the best. That's not the worst tie in the world. They're a decent side. They've got some good players. They'll bring a load of fans. They're not actually. Their away record in the National League isn't great. They don't win as much away as they do at home. And I think it's actually we'll get some money out of it because it'll be on the US TV. We might even get they might even pick us as a TV. Yeah, it'll be on the US anyway because they stream every game for Wrexham on there. And it'll get us a bit of PR and publicity, and it's a chance to win and get through to the next round. And they'll be physical, but they're very direct.
And it'll be a good atmosphere because they'll bring a lot of fans with them as well. They'll probably sell their allocation.
Well, hopefully, 1st of January, we'll go and sign Paul Mullin. So they won't have him. We'll have him.
Well, and hopefully Ryan will come.
Yeah, more comments. Here we go. Go
on.
Oh, that was Anne Joyner. Good evening. CJ's mum. CJ be on very shortly. Waiting for him to tune in. Oh, that's CJ again. Who we got here? Oh, here you go. What's this one? This is from your dad, Glenn. Ponty at Kings Lynn now.
He was on the bench on Saturday, wasn't he?
Yeah. There you go.
They haven't got any Cov City players now. They had Kwame Thomas, Ponticelli. They had Terry Angus's lad, but he never played for Cov or Angus, but he's gone out on loan. Obviously they had Andy Morrell, so it's the Andy Morrell derby. But yeah, they're a decent side. But I wouldn't say. I think we've got enough to cause them problems, but I could see them causing us problems because they've got a long throw merchant Tozer, who was at Cheltenham. So yeah, it'll be a good tie. I didn't think it was that good a draw, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a couple of all Premiership games in there as well, isn't there? So you know, a lot of the Premiership ties go out.
A few all
And a few-
championship as well, isn't there?
Yeah, Preston Huddersfield. That's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, Man United, Everton. So one of them will go out. I reckon it's made for Ashley now. Who's that from? The Nation Radio.
Nation Radio. I reckon it's made for
Well,
Ashley. Maybe. Don't know.
Could be.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting
I
to
thought he
see
would have
what
come in
Ashley's
before.
actually going to do. We haven't actually had after all this. We haven't had a statement at all from Ashley, have we? Really? We haven't heard
No.
since he bought the ground. He hasn't come out and said anything.
No.
So we don't know what his plans are, do we? So,
And then we've
That's
got.
right, though, isn't it? If we don't get
yeah.
sorted, we're going to be vulnerable in January. He's right there.
Yeah, he's right there. Yeah, if we don't get it through, CJ's just about to join us, and Dan. So just quickly get through a couple more. What's no that one. Story could give him a year's free energy drinks. That's to Vic.
I've never heard of his drinks. Never heard of them.
Nor me. There's a rumor.
No one has said. That's the problem. No one has.
Well, there's a rumor Robbins
It's a
wants
drink
cold
nobody
bishop
can
from
buy.
Pompey.
Yeah, exactly. Where can we buy this product?
Exactly. Right, before we get CJ on, then Ken, have a quick advert.
We'll have a quick break, and then we'll be back with the World Cup camp latest from CJ live in Qatar.
Okay.
Special. We're going to be joined very shortly by CJ, and we've also got Miles, Victoria, and Glenn on the panel tonight. So hopefully, CJ, good evening, everybody. Welcome back after that short break. Hopefully, CJ is live from Qatar. Good evening.
And Dan.
And Dan is there as well. Hello, Dan. Hello, CJ.
Hello. Hey, guys. You all right?
Good evening, chaps. Wow. What can I say about the USA? Where did it all go wrong? Hey?
I think we did what we needed to do, to be honest with you. After the Iran-Wales result, Southgate knew that 0-0 meant that we needed to lose 7-0 tomorrow night to get back. So why not just protect that 0? We create a few chances. It's not his fault. We fluffed the few chances we had. And I think he played it very wisely. And let's face it, we're qualified. We might lose 1-0 tomorrow or 2-0. We ain't going to lose 7-0. And it doesn't really matter where we finish in the group, whether we finish first or second. So we're obviously we want to see us win the group and everything, but if
Yeah.
we finish second, there is a silver lining. That Al Bayat Stadium where we went the other night, we're actually there the round of 16, quarter final, and the semi final. If we get our if we win the group and we progress through the rounds,
It's miles away,
and it is like it's about 60 kilometres away from here. And we didn't get in until after 3 o'clock in the morning,
Really?
and that's with a 10 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And that's with no extra time and penalties. If we go to round of 16, quarters and semis, you've got to say if we do play that many, law of averages, we're going to end up with extra time or pens at some point, aren't we?
oh yeah,
So
Yeah.
it's even later. You're probably talking 4 o'clock in the morning, getting back from that.
happy days.
So
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
were the fans disappointed? I mean, there was loads of people disappointed back home with the performance and the fact that Southgate never made any substitutions, never attempted to change the game when it looked like we weren't getting anywhere. Maybe bring Kane off, bring Callum Wilson on. Phil Foden sort of never started either, did he? There was a lot of talk about that. What did you think about the team and the changes that never got made?
Well, I think what made it worse, I mean, for me anyway, was if we'd have beat Iran 1-0 and then that performance, I think you probably would have been like, oh, it's one of them, isn't it? It's a World Cup, we've got a point. Because we went and beat Iran 6-2, it was sort of like we all thought we were like the next Brazil team that were going to like wipe the floor with everybody, and it got us all a bit excited.
especially with what Iran did to Wales.
Yeah, and then Iran beat Wales, and you think, whoa,
Yeah.
that performance is now sort of like been franked, really. But I just think you only got to look at what Belgium did. Was it yesterday? All the days.
Yeah.
Yesterday they tried to get a 0-0. In my opinion, we were there, and Belgium never got going. They were happy to sit back on a 0-0, but it didn't work.
They were falling out for about 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, they were arguing with each other. The Belgians.
I don't know if that came across on TV, but they were it was almost like they were just falling apart. The team.
Yeah, they're very poor. I mean, I couldn't believe how bad they were, Belgium, to be fair. From considering they're ranked as second in the world, aren't they, Belgium, apparently, in the rankings. I found it hard. No, they didn't.
When I was watching it, I said there's something wrong in their camp, but you got that vibe. There's something wrong there, though, in that team. And so I didn't see them falling out on the pitch, but that doesn't surprise me because that's the sort of vibe you got, that there's something wrong there. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Given all that, I wouldn't like to be Courtois going into that dressing room afterwards. After what was it the first one?
First goal,
basically
through him.
It was pretty much like a polo or a donut, wasn't it? It was just a hole in the middle of it. Just went straight through. So,
But I mean, we're disappointed that Callum Wilson never come, because I'd like to see Callum Wilson come on. Kane didn't really look. I don't know if he's fully fit, but he just didn't look at it. But I know Kane can score from nothing if you like.
Yeah.
And that's probably why he kept him on, because any little bit of any little thing in the box, Kane can score. We all know that. But I just felt it was crying out for a fresh pair of legs up front. Maybe Callum Wilson would have given that.
I think that was one of the changes I probably would have made. I think Kane was brilliant against Iran, in my opinion. The best part, I've said this so many times, best part of his game. Remove the goal scoring, it's still worth the place in the team because he drops back and he just when he does that for his club or his country, and you have players overlapping and doing their jobs and coming in front of him, and he just plays them through. Yeah. That's when he's so good. And then he might pop up and score a goal himself. So a lot was made about Tony not being there. Obviously, he couldn't pick him, but a lot was made about him not being there simply because of penalties. I'm thinking, got Harry Kane. It's not. Yeah. It's not too bad really to have him in the team when we're talking about penalties. So I do, but I think maybe Wilson possibly. I don't. Foden. The thing is, if you're bringing on Foden, you're going to bring him on for Mount, and I think Mount across the two games, he played brilliantly in the first game, and the second game he actually did pretty decent. He did what was expected of him. He held the ball, he ran with the ball
stuff. He's off the ball stuff he does. Maybe sometimes doesn't come across on the TV. That's for Chelsea probably and England. It's the off the ball stuff he's been doing.
Think Jamie Allen.
Yeah.
Just
They're
doesn't
very
stop.
underrated.
Pain in the arse for the other team, just constantly running and chasing after balls that he should never be chasing after. But that means that the defender has to run after as well. And I think taking him off probably would have been the wrong choice because he's helping keep that nil, so to speak. Bellingham didn't necessarily play brilliantly, I don't think, really. So I think it was right to bring Henderson on. But when he came on, we looked a lot more dynamic. But within 2 minutes, he was pinging balls like 30 yards forward. And we looked a lot better going forward, I think, when he was there. So, but at the end of Jude's a 19-year-old kid. He's
only a youngster. Yeah, exactly.
And like I said last week on here, Henderson bringing in a Champions League, not just Champions League and Premier League winner, but a captain that's done that with that experience coming in, and not many countries can say they can bring somebody on like that. That's probably like third or fourth choice. So that experience was just superb, really.
Ronaldo.
There you are,
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo's just scored.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Surprise.
Typical.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to since we last spoke to you then? What's it like out there? Have you seen any more sights and views? I know you've been to a couple of different games, haven't you?
I got some
Yesterday
pictures.
we did Belgium, Morocco yesterday. That was
all right.
That was a quiet one.
That was mad.
Yeah.
They all seem to take whistles in the ground with them and they blow them non-stop.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's horrific actually on the earbuds.
Yeah.
Oh, with some pictures.
That's Senegal.
Nice.
You went to Senegal, Korea today, didn't you? Was that today?
Yeah. So.
Who was it? No, Ghana.
Yeah.
Ghana. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ghana.
So 3-2.
3-2.
So
that was a good game. Yeah.
Yeah. So that top one is Education City. That's in the university. And the stadium, kind of the top tier of the stadium is kind of like made out of like metal flooring with like the hash marks on it. It's made basically out of that.
Right. Okay.
So they're going to take that off and then drop the roof. So it's going to be 2 tiers rather than 3. And then the other
that's Germany.
That's bottom left, and then bottom right. That was Germany last night. Yeah, Germany, Spain. So we did 2 games yesterday, 2 games today, and then we did Argentina, Mexico as well.
Now this stadium impresses me. I like this stadium. I think Cov City need to buy this stadium and move it to Coventry, where IKEA is.
Yeah. Well, the idea with that one, that's the 974, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where we just been.
Yeah, that's where you just been.
We've just been there. Yeah, we've just been there for Brazil, Switzerland, and basically there's 974 shipping containers, and they're actually part of the structure.
And the dog out here is 974.
Right.
I do get the impression that they probably maybe used 950 in the plan, and then thought, oh, actually, we could make something of this, couldn't we? And let's try and fit in another 24, or something along those lines. And they've made like the turnstile hubs on the outside of the stadium to put shade for the operators. They've kind of hollowed them out, so you've got shipping container water there. All the signposts are all made out of shipping containers. So,
that's ace, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the idea is they can pick that up. In 18 months it took them to build it. As well, I think it's about 18 to 24 months. Probably about the same time to dismantle it. Probably less, actually, if anything. And then they can take it wherever.
City Centre, IKEA. Knock it down, City Centre.
So it's a flat pack ground then. It's flat pack.
Flat pack.
Yeah.
Bought it from IKEA.
Yeah.
Oh damn. So who's impressed you so far then? Before we go on to talk about the Wales game coming up, who's impressed you so far, and have you got the indications of maybe a potential winner yet or not?
I think
France are looking good, and Spain.
I said Spain last night, even though it was only a draw. The way that Spain moved the ball around is like the best we've seen, even after I've seen Brazil tonight. But then we've seen Brazil without Neymar, so they looked a little bit toothless without Neymar. But I think Spain would be my shout, to be fair.
Yeah, obviously Belgium are just Belgium. You can see that Roberto Martinez is the manager now. I think I've never been taken by him. I think he was overrated at Wigan. They actually regressed under him year on year. If you look where they finished, and like they were a mid-table club, and then they won the FA Cup. Fair enough, decent, but that they had to play Man City, who were on strike and trying to get the manager sacked. Pretty much, it looked like it anyway in the final. I think they were the only Premier League team they played in the run. So, but I was really surprised that he got that job. And then, to be fair, he's done all right since.
No, he hasn't been. Not with. I don't think you can say he's done all right when the players he's had. Martinez. I know we're talking about Belgium here, but the players he's had, there's no way they shouldn't have won either a Euros or a World Cup.
Yeah, I agree. At least, that's right.
Or made a
got the golden generation, as they call them, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, if you think the players, don't get me wrong, anyone can lose in a final on the day, but he hasn't made a single final. And I think, hasn't De Bruyne, I've not really followed it, hasn't he come out in the news and said they're definitely not winning it or something like that?
Apparently, yeah, he said we've got no chance of winning it. That's what he said.
Yeah, he's been very strange with some of his press. Did you see when he got the man of the match the other day?
I wouldn't be surprised if he retired from international football after this tournament, to be honest.
That wouldn't surprise me. To be fair, that wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, you guys, you did a bit of local shopping the other day. You took in the sights, and you really went to town, and really took in.
Fortune.
Well, spend a fortune. Have you done any more local shopping?
I wonder what he was like.
I mean, have you been to any local shopping apart from all the big names?
The thing is, these malls are just huge. I've got a few pictures on Twitter and stuff. And like yesterday, the one we were in yesterday, massive. Is that the Malakotar?
Malakotar.
Yeah. Was it?
No, Villaggio.
The Villaggio, yeah. They've put up big screens in the last sort of few days.
Malakotar.
Yeah.
And these like big curved screens.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people.
People just sat on the floor, and can be like smothering the floor. You can't even walk around it hardly.
Just watching the football. But to be honest with you, round here, you wouldn't necessarily say there's many local shops, so to speak, independents. They
just don't do it. The thing is over here, I don't know if we said it when we were on last. What they've done is they'll build a big cluster of places like we are, and then for 2 miles it'll be just highway and desert, and then you'll come to a next bit. There'll be loads of high-rise buildings, and literally, there's no sort of. It's so different, isn't it, to what we'd be like at home? It's either city or desert, and there's no in between. You wouldn't be able to.
So, is there anywhere to get fridge magnets?
Yeah, it's the ground.
Can you get me one?
If we see one, Mark, we'll get one for you.
Brilliant.
Do you want a Morrison's one or Morrison's jam?
No, I want a World Cup one or whatever.
I see you've got a new neon sign then.
Oh yeah,
fantastic. Where did you get that from?
Yeah, neonnow.co.uk. Neon Now. Yes, brilliant. They ship out to where you are.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You can have one behind you.
Could be out there for a while. Could be out there for a while. We'll get it out to you.
Yeah. You get 10% off with our code going across the bottom there.
There you go.
Neonnow.co.uk.
Okay, let's move on to the Wales game then.
Are you talking about the cup draw or?
Well, we're going to talk about the
we've done that. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, we have. Well, go on. We're going to
CJ, we're going to be on Disney Plus.
Let's get your view on the cup draw.
We have been a Mickey Mouse out for a few years, haven't we, really? And we've had Goofy. I was going to say we had Goofy in a certain position on the board, but I won't say who I was going to talk about. But
I reckon for the crap we should all Cov fans should go dressed as Deadpool.
Yeah.
Mickey and Minnie.
So what do you think, Wrexham?
What do you think? You happy with that? Happy with the home draw against Wrexham?
I wanted anyone away. We're due a crappy non-league team away, aren't we? When was the last time we had one of them? Really? I mean, I think Torquay were that they weren't non-league. I think they were.
Wimbledon was the smallest we've been. I think
Even that was. Yeah, even that.
I don't know. I went to Sutton in the 80s. I did. And we got beat. Yeah, I was there.
Torquay was the last one, weren't it? But they were in League 2 at the time, I think.
But it's an interesting one. Even if they weren't in league, even if they weren't, the ground's actually a decent little ground. I'm talking where you've got conifers surrounding the pitch, and you've got a bloke stood there with a dog. So, when you go in, your ticket is a raffle ticket as you walk through, and you get free entry.
Sounds very much like Sutton United that did when at the time.
Yeah,
standing on the grass bank. Yeah, I remember. But
I'm quite pleased. A new team to watch in it, and they'll
be well followed.
They'll be well followed, and that's a big thing for me. Hopefully,
I think
they'll have full allocation, won't they?
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
And
do them a special deal as well.
Wife's hoping the board turn up as well. That's what the wife.
And me.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm going down. I'm going to wait outside till they come in.
It'd be very interesting if we, home. Everybody likes a home draw now and again, but if we can get through this round and never the big boys, because there's a lot of the games that have come out. There's a couple of all prep games in the draw, so I was hoping for Villa away myself, but
that'd be nice.
Maybe in the next round if
this
winnable
game.
The thing is, though, Disney Plus might be watching this tonight. They might get us all on the show.
Well, you never know. Hopefully they will.
I'm definitely Mickey Mouse. Don't want to dress as anything else.
I'll be Buzz.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about the Wales game then. The Wales game coming up. What do you think? What's your views? Do you think they can play?
Yeah. 0-0.
0-0? Yeah. Really?
I can just see it 0-0, and I'd actually be quite happy with a 0-0 because I don't want to drive 60 kilometres every other week, every other day to go to. I'll buy it. But jokes aside, I think it'll be like a scrappy 1-0, 1-1, 2-1 either way. It'll be a really tight, tense game for us because we won't. I don't think we'll come out and really go at them. I think we'll just make sure we don't lose, and if we lose 1-0, we lose 1-0.
But you've got to remember, it's a tournament group stage. You don't have to win 3 games. It's good to get into that winning habit, but I think
he'll make changes tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll make some changes, and I just think it'd be good to see some different players play there. Say Walker might play.
So, I've just had a private comment. Kyle Walker is set to start for England tomorrow, according to TalkSport.
Yeah,
I've also heard Madders is set to start as well.
Really?
They're probably set out, I would say.
I'll be surprised, but that'd be cool.
Yeah. That'd be nice. Nice to get Callum. Nice to see them both on the pitch, wouldn't it? Callum Wilson and Madders would be brilliant. I think that'd be brilliant.
So going into this game, then, boys. I mean, I've seen quite a few videos out there, Welsh fans with the England fans in the bar. Has it all been fantastic? Have they all been getting on really well? Has it been going really sound? Because I've seen a few things in Tenerife. It's all kicked off out there.
Yeah. I always find that funny though that people go to the World Cup was in Australia. It's like me saying I'm off to America for the World Cup. It's like it's like you're going the opposite way, mate. Like,
I know. So has it all been good? Because I've seen some great videos online. It's been absolutely superb. I mean, everyone's getting on, isn't they, by the looks of it?
Yeah, not hitting the trouble. The only thing we have seen was something was posted in a WhatsApp group earlier. It was at the Ghana game, and it looked like some of the Ghanaians
were trying to storm the
gate. Trying to storm through the gates.
But that's like storming the airport security because you go through a cordon and then another cordon. So if you got through one, I don't know what they were planning to do once they got through the first one.
It's almost like it's almost like if you think where the CBS is, you get through the first cordon, which is like halfway along Burbage Lane.
Yeah,
and then you get to Rowley's. You know, that's where the drinks are sold and the shop is. You know, the club shop or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Is that where they sell the fridge magnets?
Yeah. One with your name on, I think.
They've got big screens up as well where you can watch the game before when we, in each outside each stadium they've got a big screen.
No shade.
Where there's no shade, and then you can watch the game that's going on at that point before yours. But so that's the only bit of trouble we wouldn't have even known about that. We haven't if we hadn't seen it in this WhatsApp group or somebody has actually stood there and just filmed it. But when we were getting on the way to the ground, the Ghanaians were great, weren't they? Brilliant! They'd come along.
It's on his Twitter. I think. They're absolutely
fantastic.
All dancing in the tube station.
Oh, that was this morning, wasn't it? I seen it. They were singing as they were coming through the tunnel.
Yeah.
They were great, brilliant. So, but like I said, no trouble whatsoever. To be honest, the last time we played Wales in a major tournament was 2016, and you ended up having the Wales and the England lads that wanted to have a go, kind of all getting together and going after the Russians. So, you know what I mean? And I very much doubt anyone out here is going to start anything.
What I will just say, no, it was a rowdier crowd on Friday than it was for the first game. Being a 10 o'clock game, anyone that wanted to could have had a bit of a swill, and it was a lot more, sort of what's the word to use, laddie, sort of like it was quite more boisterous atmosphere.
The other thing like Blackpool away.
Yeah. The other thing is with that as well is the time you want to be drinking. You don't really want to be drinking here at midday. Maybe when it gets a little bit cooler, because honestly, it goes from light and then literally 5 minutes later, you look out the window and it's dark. That's how quickly it goes. So, so it obviously gets just that bit cooler quite quick. You've got a couple of hours then before the match where you could have a few drinks in the bar or whatever. And
it's a long day.
Yeah, but the game that was on at 4, that was obviously there's no time really before where you're going to have a drink. Now, for the 10 o'clock games, So that's a very good point.
Yeah. Just it weren't no trouble, but just a lot more, more boisterous atmosphere. So that just sort of vanishes the idea that the media would paint that you can't have a drink. Like, you can get as much drink as you want. I learned that one day for the France game. I had quite a bit to drink, so I can honestly say you can get as much drink as you want in the Red Lion.
And he was hungover at half time.
In the France game, I was hanging. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, would you make any changes then yourself for this Wales game? Who would you bring in, or would you keep the same team?
Maguire and Stones have been absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
You can't fault either of them for the 2 goals against Iran, really. I know Maguire pulled up injured and it was a good goal, to be fair, the Iran one. But how can you fault them for the other night, really? For the America game, they were very good. So I wouldn't change them. I think Shaw and Trippier equally. I think they're brilliant. They've been very good. But obviously we've got Kyle Walker there, who's just he's got such an engine on him even now at his age, and I'd love to see him start again in a World Cup, and maybe possibly he'll play right back, but we'll then
play Trippier left back.
Yeah, we might say to Luke Shaw, tell you what, how many times in your career have you played game? Let's hold you back a little bit. Let's give you. We don't need to play. We don't need to risk you. So we're going to put Kieran there, and then you're going to be. You could come on later on possibly. So that might be an option.
I'd be playing. I wouldn't play either the midfield too. I'd probably take them out, give them a breather.
Yeah.
I'd probably play Henderson and somebody else. I'd maybe even play. Who have we got who can play midfield?
Just Henderson, really, isn't it? Phillips is there.
Maybe Phillips.
Phillips, yeah.
Well, I think he'll play him in front, but I would even play Henderson and Phillips.
Yeah.
Phillips an hour. Try and get his. And if he doesn't make half an hour, then he doesn't make it, does he? You bring Rice or Bellingham in, and then you've got Maddison potentially then for Mount, and then I think personally I'd be playing Foden and Grealish either side, and then play Kane.
Give them a go. Yeah.
That's my changes. I'd make a few. I think he's got nothing to lose.
Like we were saying though, for that game the other night, I know there was chomping at the bit to put Foden in, but
it wasn't a Foden
You're
game.
going to have to bring, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to bring him on for one of the wider players. Because, like I said, taking Mount off in that game just weren't going to work because of how he plays. So you're going to have to. We took our wide players off, and Rashford and Grealish.
Well, Rashford gives you that
Yeah.
run beyond. The problem you've got is, I was equally as frustrated because I wanted to see us win. But if he brings on Foden for Mount, and then we go and lose 1-0, he's going to get absolutely hammered. Why did you make that change? We didn't need to win. Should have kept it solid. Seeing what we could do on the. Do you know what I mean? So you can't win really. The performance was disappointing, but at the end of the day, think about the last game, the second game of the group at the Euros against Scotland, the most boring 0-0 draw, and we got to the final. So let's just hope that form sticks.
I mean, I was fuming when I was walking out of Wembley, down Wembley Way that day. But the next morning, I think it was actually the next morning, I actually sat down and thought, do you know what? That's not, because third goes through anyway in a lot of groups in that. So I was thinking, do you know what? Actually, that's not a bad one, really. We'll take that. And we didn't lose to them. We could have gone and won every other game after that 6-0. But if we'd have lost 1-0 with a dodgy penalty from Scotland, we'd never hear the end of it. They think they've won the whole thing. So, I mean, it was definitely the right decision that time, and I think it's going to prove to be the right decision this time. So.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Before I get a prediction off you, then Victoria, would you make any changes for the Wales game?
I think pretty much just like Dan's been saying, just rest some players, like bring in different midfielders, maybe different attacking players. Pretty much just like Dan's been saying, really. I'd agree with him.
Yeah. Miles?
I'd like to see Kyle Walker come in. I think I agree with you about Maguire and Stones. I think they've been superb, and I know Maguire's not starting much for Man United, but he certainly knows what to do when he puts an England shirt on, which I'm very, very proud of him for that one. And maybe in the middle, like the boys were saying, maybe give Phillips a little run out. And to be honest, I'd love to see Madders. I'd love to see Madders and Foden on the pitch at the same time. I know they're very similar players, but I don't think there's anyone in the England team that can cross the ball like Maddison can cross the ball. As I said the other night, he's very, very much like he's watched David Beckham week in, week out with the way he crosses. His style is so very, very similar. And that'd be nice. And maybe play Kane for 45 minutes and then swap it at half time.
Yeah.
As you say, it's you got to keep Kane fit, and if he is fit enough, just give him a little run out of his legs, and then swap it. Just change it. And I think we've got to lose by 4 goals? Is it
7?
It's 7 for us
7
to go
goals.
out, but Wales need to win 4-0 to go through.
That's it. Yeah,
going through. I think the other result still may alter things a little bit.
Yeah.
If USA win, they can't go through anyway.
Yeah, if USA win, they can't go through.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I would want us to win the group because we fly back Saturday and we'll miss the game.
Well, that's another thing. If we win, we play Sunday, don't we?
Yeah.
If we run us up, we play on the Saturday. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So,
It is.
Yeah.
With the early game on Saturday.
Glenn, are you still with us?
Yeah, I
What's your
probably agree
thoughts?
with what. I'd like to see Maddison play, but I'm not convinced he will start him. But definitely someone we need to get some minutes. And Phillips, we definitely need him for the knockout stages. Walker, I think we need him if we're going to play France, because you need someone who's got a bit of pace defensively, especially against Mbappe, with how he's been terrorising people. So I wouldn't make massive changes. I think if we score first, then Wales are kind of got to have a go against us. I think the worst case scenario is Wales score first and they'll just hang on, and then it's how much do we really throw the kitchen sink at them? And I'd like to ram. I think there's a few journalists said they want to ram a few words back down the Welsh throat for the Iceland video celebration. So I think I was really disappointed with them. I think Bale and Ramsey, you may as well have not played them. They were basically passengers. I was quite glad he ran. He ran one, and I actually hope they beat the USA because they actually play some really good football and got some good players. So I hope they get through actually ahead of the USA. I was kind of impressed with the US, but they didn't really go for it. I didn't think against us. We were there for the taking.
They
Yeah,
knew
you're right there.
they didn't have
True.
to win. They knew they could draw and then beat Iran, and then they'd still go through.
So one last thing on Maddison, I think maybe something we need to think about is he's been injured.
Is he fit?
So, is it really best to start him? And maybe half hour at the end. And the other thing is with Grealish as well is I know there's a lot of saying that Grealish should start, but the thing
You
is,
said this on the way out, didn't you?
if you're going to play Grealish every single time he's had a brilliant performance for England, he's come off the bench.
Yeah.
He's so good off the bench. Maybe
That's his role.
that's what his role is. And if that's what his role is for his whole career, and he ends up getting 100 caps, and he wins 2 tournaments along the way, coming off the bench and like changing games. If you're Eddie Jones calls it. I know it's not a great example at the moment because they're not doing brilliant, but Eddie Jones calls them his finishers. They're as important as the starting 15. So why can't Southgate look at that way as well? And the All Blacks, I can't remember his name that does the haka. He never starts, and he does the haka. Do you know what I mean? He leads it. So sometimes you need to look at a different approach, and I think Grealish starting isn't necessarily the right thing because him coming off the bench is just so valuable to us, and he's going to get so many more plaudits playing 20 minutes than. And we've actually bought him on before. I think it was for the Denmark game. We bought him on last year, and then we took him off. The moment we scored, we took him off. He only played 20 minutes, half an hour, and that's it. You had him back. We're not going to risk you now. We're not going to risk you getting injured because we need you next time, possibly. So, so I think that's a big thing. And one more thing with regards to injuries as well. We were told earlier, looking ahead of that possible quarter-final, Benzema's training at the moment at Real Madrid.
He's not been ruled out of the squad either.
He's still in the squad. So
he hasn't been.
He's training at the moment at Real. So
that comes with just this quick mad World Cup story. The guy we met when we were running to the ground for the Brazil game, he has got 12 hours in Doha because he's flew from Singapore back to New York. He's from France, and he managed to see the South Korea-Ghana game and then rush to the Brazil game. And then he's got 4 hours to get to the airport to fly back to New York. So that's just mad. You get those sort of stories.
Crazy.
Right, some quick predictions then. What's your predictions, lads? CJ and Dan? Predictions for the game. Go on.
2-1 again.
2-1?
I'm going to go Matt. 1-1. 1-1.
1-1. Ooh. Miles?
I'm going to go 1-0.
1-0 win?
I just think we'll win it, and we'll just get the 1 goal, and then we'll just do what we did the other night, just hold on to the ball, let Wales run round like headless sheep.
Yeah. It's cheap. Wow.
I couldn't resist that one, sorry.
Victoria, predictions, please.
I'm going to be optimistic and say 2-0. I think it probably depends on if we get an early goal or not. Because I think the other night, if that Kane chance had gone in early on when Saka played it across to him, if we'd have scored early in that game, I think it would have been a whole different game. And I suspect the Wales one will be similar. So if we can get a nice early goal, I'm going 2-0.
The Iran game was the same. If we hadn't scored early, we might have only won 1-0. It might have been a 0-0. We need an early goal so this team don't sit back.
Yeah, they've got to come out then, haven't they? Glenn, prediction, please.
3-0 England. 3-0 England.
That was the scoreline last time we played them at Wembley, behind closed doors. We beat them 3-0 and we beat Ireland 3-0 as well in the same break. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to sort of go 2-0, I think. I'm not going to go 3. I'm going to go 2. But I certainly would like to see Callum Wilson on the pitch.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Madders on the pitch as well. I'll be pleased if both of them are on the pitch at the same time. That'd be great. But at some stage, I'd like them to come on and play a part. Because we have got an attacking team. We have got players who can match winners, if you like, on the day. But it's just on the day, isn't it? I suppose every game's different. Against Wales, it's always going to be tight because they know each other so well. So, I think it'll be
4-0 down, and then we get a dodgy penalty in the 95th minute and we score it. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah, they were that close to getting there.
Similar sort of thing in '96 when Arthur Wembley celebrated the Holland goal because it knocked Scotland out. The 4-1.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You do have some
remember.
crazy thoughts, mate. You have some mad thoughts.
That's evil.
Well, we've run out of time, so thanks very much, CJ and Dan. Me and Miles, by the way, are off to Marbella on Wednesday to watch Cov City out there. We haven't got a game yet because it's been called off. We're supposed to be playing. It's supposed to be, but apparently this morning it's been cancelled. But they're trying to arrange another game. Huddersfield are out there, FC Bruges are out there, and there's another Greek team out there. So hopefully we'll get a game of some sort out there. Otherwise we'll be just on a jolly and just watching warm weather training.
And sitting around the pool with the boys.
We might be able to watch a couple of matches out there as well, won't we? So it'll be all right. Just to let you know, the winners of the flag competitions, we give us England flag and
we got winners. We got winners.
Got 3 winners.
Yes.
John Smith or John Smithy, Mike Seaton and Ryan Goodman all won England flag and a mug. So congratulations to all them winners. We'll post them off.
Well done.
We'll post them up to you as soon as possible. Thanks, lads, again. Enjoy your... Now, how long are you planning to stay out there? Obviously, if we get to the final, you're going to be there, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
We're out here regardless now.
We booked a cruise ship.
We're on a cruise ship for 2 weeks.
We're out of our apartment on the 5th. We just thought originally we'll book it till then because you never know, it's England, innit? And then but
You've
then
got
we
contingency
thought,
plan.
you know what, we've got a flight booked on the 20th. Let's just use that. Let's stay out here. I can do a bit of work when I'm out here if I need to, and we can just go on the cruise ship and use the pool and
Why not?
Can we get you back on when you're on the cruise ship and get like a tour?
That'd be fantastic if you're on the cruise ship.
Oh, yeah. That'd be ace. Go round videoing the cruise ship while you're live.
Well, the wags are on it, aren't they?
If you're making the daytime,
you're going on the wags one.
We'll be in the jacuzzi.
The wags are on that one.
Them. They can drink on the cruise ship because you're out offshore, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're allowed to drink. So
I'll tell you a story about the wags cruise ship. Neon Now signs, neonnow.co.uk. Yeah.
Is that where you got that one from, Miles?
Neonnow.co.uk. Yeah. The guy who runs it, his mate is a bouncer and a security guard, and he told us this, his job is looking after the wags on the cruise ship.
How good's that? Yeah.
How good's that?
Free accommodation, free drink, free food.
Yeah, free accommodation in the works with the wags.
Can't be bad. Miles is frozen now, isn't he?
Miles is frozen.
Oh, his hand up in the air. Right, we'll let you go, lads. Thanks very much for joining us, CJ and Dan. Best of luck tomorrow. I hope we'll be with you all the way, and hopefully we can get a nice win and get through to the nice knockout stages and see how far it takes us. And we'll get you back on obviously as the tournament progresses.
So get your flag so we can see it again. Get your flag so we can see it again.
Absolutely, yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Take care.
See you later.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, lads. Cheers. Thanks very much. Well, there you go. That was live from Qatar. CJ and Dan. We're going back on, obviously, once we can. Let's talk a little bit. We've got a couple of minutes, maybe, and maybe we've gone over a little bit, haven't we?
We've gone way over.
Well, when you're enjoying yourself, we're just going to talk about Spain quickly. We're off to Spain to watch Cov City. Well, you are as well, hopefully. We're going to hopefully get a game out there. We don't know who we're playing or where we're playing. Well, the Marbella Football Academy or Stadium we're playing at, apparently. That's where they're playing all the games. So, apparently, if we can get a game out of that, it'd be brilliant. I'm looking forward to it. Son, disappointed we didn't get it. Nice to go out there and maybe speak to a few of them and see how they're getting on in the pre-season, wasn't it? We're hopefully going to try and get a few interviews and maybe a bit of exclusive footage for you. All going well. So fingers crossed. We've got an early morning flight there, haven't we, on Wednesday? So we've got to be.
What
up there.
time?
No sleep for me tomorrow.
5 past 6.
Oh,
Set your alarm, Miles.
5 past 6.
Oh.
So we'll be, and we're going from East Midlands, not Birmingham. East Midlands. Yeah.
Set
it's
me
cheaper.
alarm. I ain't even going to go to bed. I might as well just stay up because he's going to pick me up at 2:30.
I know. Yeah. So, but I am looking forward to it. It'd be nice. It'd be a nice change. So hopefully we'll do a live show from out there, so we can show you what's going on out there. Hopefully as well. So anyway, run out of time. Obviously, we've gone way over time actually. But thanks for joining us. Thanks very much, Victoria.
cheers, Ken.
Thank you, Miles. Thank you, Glenn.
No problem.
Cheers.
Cheers, and we'll see you again soon. We'll be back in next time. You'll see me and Giles. Me and Miles will be Thursday live from Marbella in our luxury hotel, hopefully by the pool. So enjoy the rest of the World Cup. Enjoy the game tomorrow, everybody. Play up Sky Blues. You've been watching Sky Blue Fans TV. Join us again soon. Good night.
Good night.